everyone, welcome back to Alice and the Giant Bookshelf and welcome to another Poetry Thursday. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name's Alice and today's video is another poetry reading for Poetry Thursday, and today the poem we're going to be talking about and reading is from T.S. Eliot's book Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats. This was first published in 1939 and it's very different to T.S. Eliot's other work of poetry that I read this year, which was The Wasteland and Other Poems. So they couldn't be more different. Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats is extremely whimsical and light-hearted, and I think this book of poetry would appeal to anyone who has owned a cat, because you can just identify with the themes and the motifs in a lot of these poems, and a lot of the cat characters that he comes up with are recognisable traits in cats that you all know. So this book of poetry, as you may already know, was adapted into a musical by Andrew Lloyd Webber, who started putting the poetry to music in the late 1970s, and the musical came out in 1981. It actually ran in London, I found out, for 21 years, and in Broadway for 18 years. So it's, if not the longest running musical, it's one of the very longest running musicals. Of course, in recent times, this famous musical got the film treatment, and in 2019 a film of the musical was released and it was widely panned. It bombed at the box office and it was considered by some to be one of the worst films ever made. So that's not really highly recommending this book of poetry. However, when I went to see the film, I'd read the book of poetry in the December to prepare myself for going to see the film, and I have to say that reading the poetry does help with the film, because my husband was sitting there, I think, in utter astonishment at what on earth was going on. And I think, although I am a fan of musicals, I'd never been to see the musical, and I can see how the film would struggle to turn these poems into a film. The musical obviously survives on having a song for each cat, because the poems are very much separate and about individual cats. So, Harry, are you going to come in the video? Come here. You coming in the video? We're talking about cats. Talking about cats. Trying to get Harry to co-host this Poetry Thursday with me, but probably is the least interested he'd ever been in being on camera. So obviously the best laid plans and all that. But yes, I think one of the fundamental problems with the film, obviously it was highly criticised for its CGI and the way it had made the actors into cats, which is fair enough in my eyes. It was adapting a musical which has been adapted from a book of poetry, so obviously there isn't a connecting storyline. And what I actually thought the film did quite well was it had managed to make up a flimsy storyline, because the storyline of the musical is even more flimsy. There isn't really one. I would say don't let the film or the musical, if you don't like them, put you off this book. If you do like the musical or the film, I think definitely pick up this book, because it's really full of fun cat poems, isn't it, Harry? You've joined us and we're going to read a poem, and I've chosen this one because it's about a very naughty cat, and I thought that would be appropriate. I don't know why. This is a poem that I really enjoyed from the collection and probably one of my favourites, and it's called Macavity the Mystery Cat. So here we go. You gonna help, Harry? Yeah? Macavity the Mystery Cat. Macavity's a mystery cat, he's called the Hidden Paw, for he's the master criminal who can defy the law. He's the bafflement of Scotland Yard and the flying squad's despair, for when they reach the scene of crime, Macavity's not there. Macavity, Macavity, there's no one like Macavity. He's broken every human law. He breaks the laws of gravity. His powers of levitation would make a fakir stare. And when you reach the scene of crime, Macavity's not there. You may seek him in the basement, you may look up in the air. But I tell you once and once again, Macavity's not there. Macavity's a ginger cat. He's very tall and thin. You would know him if you saw him, for his eyes are sunken in. His brow is deeply lined with thought, his head is highly domed, his coat is dusty from neglect, his whiskers are uncombed. He sways his head from side to side with movements like a snake, and when you think he's half asleep, he's always wide awake. Macavity, Macavity, there's no one like Macavity. He's a fiend in feline shape, a monster of depravity. You may meet him in a by-street, you may see him in the square, but when the crime's discovered, then Macavity's not there. He's outwardly respectable, they say he cheats at cards, and his footprints are not found in any file of Scotland Yards. And when the larder's looted or the jewel case is rifled, or when the milk is missing or another peak's been stifled, or the greenhouse glass is broken and the trellis past repair, aye, there's the wonder of the thing, Macavity's not there. And when the Foreign Office finds a treaty's gone astray, or the Admiralty lose some plans and drawings by the way, there may be a scrap of paper in the hall or on the stair, but it's useless to investigate, Macavity's not there. And when the loss has been disclosed, the Secret Service say, it must have been Macavity, but he's a mile away. You'll be sure to find him resting or a licking of his thumbs, or engaged in doing complicated long division sums. Macavity, Macavity, there's no one like Macavity. There never was a cat of such deceitfulness and suavity. He always has an alibi and one or two to spare. But whatever time the deed took place, Macavity wasn't there. And they say that all the cats whose wicked deeds are widely known, I might mention Mungo Jerry, I might mention Griddlebone, are nothing more than agents for the cat who all the time just controls their operations, the Napoleon of crime. That was Macavity the Mystery Cat by T.S. Eliot. I think I love it so much because of the mystery tropes that are used in it and the many mentions of crime, which we know is my favourite genre, but I also highly identify, and I think most cat owners would, with scenes of crime and their cats not being there. Yeah, so that's all for Poetry Thursday today. I hope you enjoyed this extract from Old Possum's Book of Practical Cats by T.S. Eliot. And if you did enjoy it, please do give it a thumbs up. Please consider subscribing if you haven't already. I'm trying to get into more poetry and do more Poetry Thursdays on a regular basis. So if you're interested in that, please do comment down below what kinds of poems you would like to see on this channel, or any poetry recommendations that you have for me would be most welcome. And me and Harry are going to go and read some more about cats, shall we, Harry? Yeah. Or possibly I'll just feed him. Thanks for watching, and I hope you'll all join me again soon for another video all about books here on Alice in the Giant Bookshelf. Bye for now.